me. Next up, I can see it was made by Dreamworks. While I'm dubious about the studio's movie-making skills, I do think they're pretty alright.
Movie making skills, okay. Let me go. Okay. I guess talking about their newer stuff is not fair. Let's talk about this right here. This was a pretty accurate representation to the book series, and it was pretty interesting. You showed Home, which is kind of not fair because Disney has a lot of horrible movies, and if you're mad that I said that, look up the Disney princess sequels. And my favorite Disney movie, Fox and the Hound, that sequel kind of sucked because they didn't understand the whole idea of the first one. Kung Fu Panda 2 and Trolls, I kind of liked it because it was a pretty good boombox musical. Boss Baby, I have an older brother, so I could kind of relate to this because watching this movie made me think about the past, hanging out with my brother and stuff. How to Train Your Dragon 2. I'm pretty sure this came out around the time she made the video, so this counts. This was arguably one of the best How to Train Your Dragon movies, and this was like pretty great because it talked about family and how you don't judge a book by its cover from the dragons, and you need to try trusting your family members and understanding their side of things and all that. It's pretty interesting. Highly recommend. And Peabody and Sherman, I actually like Peabody and Sherman because I watched the original show with the that moose and the squirrel, kind of forgot what it's called, but yeah, I liked that. And this kind of captured the original Peabody and Sherman, where the dog was really smart and taught the kid about history and all that. And even this movie kind of taught the audience about history and actually added things to it, had added emotion and all that good stuff. Turbo was kind of underrated, and it was a pretty decent movie. In my opinion, kind of better captured the fast racing thing than Cars really did. I enjoyed Cars, but Turbo kind of had more of a gut punch in the emotional side, and actually showed the corrupt business of racing and stuff. Pretty interesting. Crudes, I liked it because it was a good spin on the whole caveman thing, and had good referential, actually reference to the modern day, but in a caveman thing, kind of like Flintstones. So I kind of liked it. Guardians of the Galaxy, Rise of the Guardians, or the Guardians, whatever. Kind of funny I say Guardians of the Galaxy, but yeah, it was pretty good, good emotional backing to the story about holidays and stuff. This one video said this Jack Frost is the best Jack Frost in movies, so yeah. And I kind of like the Madagascar series, and Disney's kind of I'm currently screwing over Blue Sky with the Ice Age stuff, and I know Rio's gonna get screwed over too. Puss in Boots was pretty good. I like the cat that kept saying "oh" or whatever. And the Kung Fu Panda series, amazing. It's pretty great. And China really likes Kung Fu Panda, so at least to them is decently representing China, which is a pretty positive thing, because if a whole country doesn't like a thing because it's cultural, like making fun of the culture and stuff, that's not a good thing. Megamind, I'm glad they're gonna make another Megamind thing currently, and I kind of like Megamind because it pokes fun of the stupid like superhero kind of idea. And Shrek, of course, and How to Train Your Dragon. It revolutionized animation at the time. It was pretty good. Of course, I already said Kung Fu Panda is good. B-movie, a lot of people enjoyed it. It was funny because they made a lot of memes about it. Monster vs. Aliens, underrated. It was made by people that really loved the horror genre of monsters and monster movies, and it was pretty fun. Flushed Away, pretty cool. This was a good one. Of course, Shark Tale kind of sucked, but you know, you win, you lose. Sinbad, pretty underrated. I really liked it. It was pretty good. Spirit, this is another movie where this sequel stuff, they completely changed the audience demographic, and I like this one not much as the sequel. El Dorado, I'm kind of sad they didn't make the other sequels that they were planning on. Ants in this, yeah, award-winning, pretty good for that, and I prefer Ants over Bug's Life, and yeah, moving on.
Right, with their shows, they tend to range from to underrated gems to straight up great. And while they do outsource a lot of their animation, this one appears to be animated in-house. I've only seen...
And kind of agree, some of their shows aren't that great, but to me, there's more good shows than bad, but to each their own, I guess.
Seen one show of theirs that I would call bad, and I'm pretty sure this is an unpopular opinion. And the show was created and directed by Guillermo del Toro. Yeah, The Crimson Peak, Pan's Labyrinth, and Silent Hill PT del Toro. An extremely talented creator who tends to make fantastic stories and visuals. Well, you know, except for that one time.
Someone wants to know what the fuck you were thinking. What the?
Yes, that she's trying to be funny, but it's not really working for me.
What the fuck was going through your head? What did you think was gonna happen? They know you're not this fucking stupid. You ever?
While he is known for horror, movies like Pacific Rim and Hellboy show that he's perfectly capable of making fun action nerd movies. And although he's never directed a show...
Pacific Rim. Interesting you liked Pacific Rim. Moving on.
He did a fine job on Silent Hill PT, and Death Stranding looks awesome, so I know he can step out of his comfort zone and still produce quality work. with all these pieces lined up, seems to me like we're in for a great show, right? Right? Am I right? Right. So the episode opens on a canal with the sun starting to rise. There's a radio.
Wait, you use a light mode? RIP your eyes. I wear glasses too, but not because of light mode.
So the episode opens on a canal with the sun starting to rise. There's a radio here that appears to be coming from this car talking about how the sun is rising just in case you don't have eyes.
I wonder if that's true. I wonder if the radio says, "Good morning, New York," or "Good morning, this." Oh, it's a good morning to do this. In the beginning of the news broadcast of the in the radio. I wonder if they mention that. Just in case you didn't know, that's sarcasm. They always do that. They always say good morning, and it's a really good morning and all that stuff. It's an amazing afternoon, or it's a beautiful night to whatever, you know. They always do that. So just in case you didn't recognize the sarcasm.
Wow, am I watching a World of Warcraft trailer?
Pacific Rim, because you showed Pacific Rim, and that's why I paused to talk about the fact that she likes Pacific Rim. Well, Pacific Rim looks like kind of Power Rangers-esque, and the monsters are kind of weird. I mean, Pacific Rim kind of looked DC, so I would say, wait, am I watching Batman vs Superman? You know, yeah.
Where did these guys come from? They exchanged some dialogue.
Where did these guys come from? Of course, outside of frame, like most things that pop outside of frame, and of course that was the shot of them crushing a cup. Was kind of meant to be surprising, you know, so that's kind of the point. The fact that she was surprised, that kind of proved the point of the shot.
Dialogue through heavy breaths, so they've clearly been fighting for some time. Yeah.
Clearly fought for some time. Like I said in the other video, and the reason why I'm doing this version, because I kind of agreed with some of the comments that I had that I should show the video, and I was just worried that they would false copyright strike or whatever my video, so I didn't show anything. So I'm gonna pause a few times, and the reason I'm not capturing the video and making it is I'm pretty sure like the camera shake and the fact that there's other things around this would slow down the copyright strike or whatever. But of course whenever you're fighting the best you can, you're gonna get tired pretty easily, and they're fighting for a while, and then they said apart from this, I guess, well you kind of proved your point wrong. And in the fight, there's in the bridge, there's not much to destroy besides the bridge. So what do you expect? The bridge to be already demolished? Not knowing how strong these these characters that are fighting are. Yeah.
Yet there's no indication of a battle scene before or after this. It's almost like the characters didn't exist in that location until Evil Guy spawned and stepped on the paper cup.
So you're saying because you didn't see him, he didn't exist until you saw him? Well, I guess every single movie, the character just shows up on screen. They just teleported there. It's kind of a weird thing to point out. And again, this is not that funny. And the reason why I'm pointing this out is because things could be subjective, not factual, like this is saying is dumb and bad. Yeah. So it's not really funny to me, and if it's not funny to me, that should mean it's factual based on what you're saying. So yeah.
We get a better look at these characters, and already it becomes glaringly obvious which one the audience is supposed to root for. The show was created by Guillermo del Toro.
Making it glaringly obvious who's the good guy and bad guy. Do you think the bad guy should pretend to be a good guy in this scene where they're clearly fighting and they know who's the good guy, who's the bad guy? Do you think there should be a thing where they're clones? Like, what do you mean glaringly obvious? I guess Joker that looks crazy and like acts insane and does a lot of crime and stuff. I guess you're saying he looks not like a bad guy because he's like the really beloved villain. So yeah, to me he looks pretty bad. Like he looks like a crazy villain. He looks evil. So are you saying you don't like him?
Right? The guy who brought us amazing character designs in both Pan's Labyrinth and Pacific Rim?
Pacific Rim, it looks like Power Rangers. I don't know what you're saying. Like, why do you like Pacific Rim? A lot of the villains look like villains, right? Or did I remember the movie wrong? Do the villains look like good guys? Do the villains... I'm confused.
Right. He directed this. So why didn't he push for better designs than this?
This concept looks pretty good. He probably pushed pretty good designs. I liked the designs. I didn't hate it. I watched every thing about Trollhunters, all the spin-offs and all the stuff. I don't know what you're trying to say.
These two characters don't even look like they belong in the same show.
They look similar enough to make sense in the same show. Like, they're both big. They both have the same kind of like body form, and I don't know, the designs look similar enough to make sense. I don't know what you're trying to say.
This guy looks like an MMO villain.
What type of villain is that? Let me see. Very scantily clad kind of things is not really a MMO villain. This actually looks like a hero. I don't know what you're saying. Free to play. What? I don't get it.
And this guy looks like a background character from Monsters Inc.
Man, that's really good detail for a Monsters Inc. character.
The evil guy.
Look, I wish that was Monsters Inc. Like would have enjoyed it a lot better. In my opinion, Monsters Inc. kind of sucks.
Is all like yield, and hero guy is all like a troll hunter never yield.
Yep. His mindset says we'll never give up, kind of like a lot of groups of like stuff like Vikings and all that stuff. I'm pretty sure everyone says that. And yeah, I don't know what you're saying.
That evil guy makes this big heckin' jump. I thought these were.
Do you know the anatomy of this? Huh? Do you know the anatomy of this fictional character? This fictional being that is not that it's only a fictional character. This thing doesn't really exist. So did you talk to the fictional god in this fictional world?
For big hulking monsters, not dainty acrobats.
I'm pretty sure big guys can jump pretty high. Are you being muscleist or bodyist? You're body shaming this guy just because he can jump high? Man, you can get canceled for this. You body shaming him?
How the heck are these things moving so fast?
Muscle?
Going back to Pacific Rim, Guillermo made sure that the movements of both the kaiju and the Jaegers were very slow and deliberate.
Oh, you mean the thing that's supposed to be realistic because it's a live action thing, and that's kind of the whole point of live action. They make fictional things realistic. Versus animation, they're not really trying to be much of a realistic thing. Is that what you're saying?
In order to emphasize the size of these things. And while the trolls on the show aren't nearly as large, it's still kind of ridiculous to see what are supposed to be heavy beasts.
Heavy as in fat or muscle?
Shooting around like ninjas. The tide of battle shifts, and in these shots we see that the sunlight hurts the trolls. This isn't a bad way to establish this concept, but it does make me wonder how the fight even got to this location.
Huh. Where did they come from? Watching the show, you don't know where they started from? Wait, how'd they get to this location? The sunlight, you're saying the sunlight affects them? A lot of sunlight, right? Do you know there's a certain time of day that the sun doesn't show up? What's it called? No. Starts with an N. Starts with night. Night. Yeah, it's nighttime. Yeah, nighttime. Sun doesn't show up at nighttime. Do you know if the night affects them in a negative way? Huh. I don't know.
Both parties get hurt by sunlight, and neither of them want to be discovered by humans, so why would they choose to fight in a location where the sun is bound to rise?
Well, what location? What location are you wanting them to be in? If you're around a city and in a place made by people, want them to fight in. There's no caves around. And of course, if you don't want to be discovered, you can't go in a building. Even so, the buildings have a lot of windows. Any suggestions would be good. You can talk to the creators of the show and suggest where they should fight in a place made by people, right?
And where any Randy driving by could see them. How did this fight initiate? What is their goal apart from obtaining the amulet?
So in a story, planning to explain it later on, you want explanation right then and there, at that second. How did you watch any movies? How did you watch anything that starts in the middle? 'Cause there's a lot of movies where it starts in the middle of the movie and then goes back. Do you want all the explanation given? So right when you watch a movie, you hate it because it's starting in the middle of the movie? Huh. I don't know.
How did they even get here? We see Hero Guy park.
Okay. How they get there? A mother and a father, husband and wife, get together. They love each other. They love each other so much that a baby is born. Oh, you weren't talking about birth? What else are you talking about? Oh well.
Pour his way over to the under part of the bridge, and in this first shot, Evil Guy is clearly right behind him, but in the next shot...
Right behind him. Let me check. That looks like quite a distance away. And based on how big they are, and the fact that he looks really small in this shot, doesn't look like right behind him. It looks like half a mile or something. I don't know. I can't really do, but it looks pretty far based on how small the silhouette is.
The under part of the bridge.
And he's probably like right out of frame.
And in this first shot, Evil Guy is clearly right behind him, but in the next shot, he's gone.
Gone? So, nothing exists out of frame? The only thing that exists in this whole thing is just this square? Man, that would be crazy if anything outside of this camera recording that I'm using doesn't exist. Do I exist? If I don't exist, how am I making this? Oh.
And then...
Did you skip something? Did you skip a scene? Did you skip something? How did he teleport from outside the bridge to inside the bridge? How did this happen? You might be right on something, right? I don't know if you skipped anything.
Yes, hi, how did he get there?
How did he get there? Did you skip something? I mean, he got there from there?
Did he change his mind about chasing Hero Guy between cuts and then rocket boost around to the other side?
How did he get there though? You're not asking the right question. How did any of them get there?
Did he jump over without Hero Guy being able to see him somehow? What is even happening? We get some nice camera.
Oh. They're climbing under the bridge, yeah.
Work here with Hero Guy climbing under the bridge.
Wait.
And then evil guy just spawns on
top of. Wait. Did you just?
without hero guy being able to see him.
Did you see
somehow?
that?
What is even happening?
Camera shake? What? Man, this. I guess she's right. This cartoon sucks because look at all this camera shake.
Camera work.
Wait. Is he going anywhere?
Hero guy climbing under the bridge.
Well, what? Did you see that?
What's happening? We got some nice camera work here with hero guy climbing under the bridge.
Wait a minute.
What is even happening? We got some nice camera work here with hero guy climbing.
Let me change the setting because I'm pretty sure I saw something. Playback speed.
Climbing under the bridge. Camera work here with hero guy climbing under.
So, did you see them? That guy climbing up
the bridge, and then evil guy just. Camera work here with hero guy climbing under the. Camera work here with hero guy climbing under the bridge, and then evil guy just spawns on top of it.
Heard of a sneak attack? Where a person can climb up, then attack from above, down below. Have you heard of that? Like Spider-Man, Batman, Splinter Cell, attacking from above a person below them? I don't know.
So at this point, I'm guessing evil guy has had the power to teleport this whole time, and
nope.
The show just keeps forgetting to mention it. Okay, so we can clear.
She makes a good point about this shouldn't happen, where it would still turn to stone. That was probably a small mistake on their part, so I'll give them
Really
one.
see this guy's hand be turned into stone, but then it cuts to the front of him and it's just gone. So I guess this guy can insta-heal too. Anyway, so hero guy decides to just give up.
Or you probably went back and had his hand better for pulling himself back. Maybe, possibly, I don't know.
Like, he's not even gonna try to keep fighting. He's just like, okay, I'm done, and then kills himself. Hey! I thought a Trollhunter never yields. Well, it sure looks like yielded to me.
You don't know the concept of seeing the person stronger than they thought he was? Seeing that you have no chance of winning and giving up that way? He gave up so he can pass on the power of the Trollhunter to someone else. Right?
Hey! Also, despite having been turned to stone, this guy seems completely capable of using its face.
Wait, what?
Despite having been turned to stone, this guy seems completely capable of using its face. I mean...
Did he not...
Having been turned to stone, this guy seems completely capable of using its...
Looks like he's only using half of his face, and the other half is frozen. Looks like it's frozen, but I'm gonna let it go. Not anymore. Not that funny of a joke, but she's not that funny either. So it balances out, and you can talk with half of your face. Pretty sure. Let me give it a shot. Yeah, my name is, and plus he has a lower voice, so it's easier to hide. Yeah.
Space. I mean, I get that this scene wouldn't be as dramatic if he was all like,
Is she just not trying? Because I'm pretty sure you can. And he's strong, so I'm pretty sure he could force himself to be able to move the frozen part slightly enough to actually say stuff.
what chance is that? But it makes it seem as if all going into the sunlight does is give you a palate swap.
Nope.
But anyway, he kills himself, and it's all dramatic, and Evil Guy is angry because he can't get the omelet now that it's in the sunlight, except he totally can.
No, he can't. It's in the sunlight, like you said.
I bet if he took off his belts and tied one end to one of his swords, he could probably hook the amulet and pull it over into the shade.
Wait. No, he can't. Weapon would also turn into stone, right? It's hard to use this thing that's a stone that wouldn't be good enough to pull anything in. Especially the fact that there's stone around the thing that you're trying to get. Right? And of course, you wouldn't risk it. Right?
Heck, it's clearly not that far from the shade. Why not just reach out and grab
Not
it
that
really,
far.
really fast like Hero Guy did with his sword? At the
Looks
very
like a
least, he
distance.
could wait until a cloud goes over the sun or...
Cloud goes over the sun. Like you said, like before, how did they get there? At night time? If it was at nighttime, the sun would still affect cloud going over the sun will still affect because the sun will still go through the clouds. Do you think clouds cover the sun entirely? Yeah.
or something, but nah, he just leaves. But yeah, so this is how the episode starts. This is what we get to establish the plot and hook the audience into the story.
That's a good way to hook an audience. I don't know what you're trying to say.
I don't know about you, but I think that this opening scene is pretty lacking.
Lacking on what?
Not conceptually. On paper, it seems like a fine idea to open the first episode with the previous troll hunter dying. But the way it's presented makes me ask more questions than what I think the writers wanted me to.
What questions?
Opening an episode with a big bombastic fight scene is fine, but you have to be able to get the audience to care for it to work. Here's some examples. When the first episode...
Example of a show that's widely more successful because it had multiple scenes and a lot of depth to it because they're planning on making multiple scenes and a lot of episodes, tons of episodes, mixing all together, getting hints and stuff. Yeah, that's a fair comparison, right? That's a show that's made to have a lot of seasons versus a show that separated into different seasons and entirely different storylines in each season. That's fair. Sarcasm.
Episode of Gravity Falls opens, we get a little monologue about summer vacation from the main character, which right away sets up the major themes of the show. We see a number...
Maybe because they planned on making a lot more.
...for pine trees hinting at the show's location in Oregon.
multiple bridges and a lot of design. I'm pretty sure there's a city, a specific type of city that has that kind of area that you can figure out where they're located, right? Or does every city have that kind of look to it? I don't know.
Before the camera rests on a sign showing the show's title location, then all of a sudden, two kids crash through the sign and drive away from a monster in a gulf. And the visual characters is only about 40 exponentially more to fantastic show to Trollhunters. I'd say that considering Trollhunters was made by talented industry veterans while
talented industry veterans, yeah, versus a whole bunch of people planning it and all that stuff. You're saying experience outweighs talent, because I would say the fact that they just created this and made detailed things about it and stuff and tried really hard to make it how it is a comparison on itself.
Gravity Falls was made by relative newbies, that it's more than fair to compare the two.
Relative newbies, is this their first creation? Relative, which means they did other things. If they did other things that you know of, they probably did other things you don't know of. So they probably have a lot of skill too. You're kind of insulting them by pointing this out. Are you sure you're not the mean one?
But I'll bite. Instead of comparing a crap show to a fantastic
Crap? Did you see the whole show?
show, let's go to the middle of the road and talk about a Canadian CG animated show called Slugterra.
That's insulting the Slugterra.
Now, these two opening scenes have a lot more in common.
More of a sci-fi type of show versus a show more grounded in reality. Well, I'm just gonna move on.
Matter of fact, they basically set out to establish the same thing. A fantastical world that needs protecting.
You said fantastical.
A famous hero dying so that the main character could take his place, and establishment of the villain. And
Wait, that villain looks evil to me.
Slugterra is not a great show. It's very, very flawed. And yet, I still find that its opening scene, despite how basic it is, still far surpasses that of the Trollhunters
Why is that?
scene. Let me show you why. Just like in Trollhunters, we get a relatively peaceful shot interrupted by fighting. And yet from the very first shot, this show becomes interesting. If there's one thing I can say Slugterra has down pat, it's its setting.
Alien planet versus Earth? I wonder if people from that planet sees Earth as interesting. Maybe they would, because it's different, right?
It looks cool as hecky deck and immediately draws my attention. So the battle goes on and we get a shot of the main character's father. Through design alone, we're able to tell that this guy is some sort of super cool rad dude and is wielding some sort of weird gun. We then get a shot of the show's main villain. It's super obvious that this guy is evil due to his colors.
So she doesn't like super obvious villains. Okay. How many obvious villains are there? There's quite a bit. Especially in the DC world. I guess you wouldn't like DC. Most people don't really like DC. So she doesn't really stand out to most people. Moving on.
Scheme's emphasis on black and red because, yeah, this show's not subtle in the slightest. But
So she likes it to be subtle. She might be pretty easy then, right? Because subtle is... Never mind, I'm not gonna.
what does draw attention and becomes interesting, though, is the fact that we see him fire some sort of creature at the hero.
Some sort of creature, yep. It's interesting because it's a thing that not real, more sci-fi. So I guess she likes more sci-fi than fantasy, I guess.
Seeing the hero retaliate with the same sets up that this sort of thing is common in this world.
Yep. And
At first, it's easy to feel the same sort of disconnect that I got from the Trollhunters intro, where it's obvious who I'm supposed to root for, but I don't feel it. But then the show takes a moment to give us the scene where the hero shows a sense of camaraderie with
that's cheating, right?
his ammo, like he considers them as friends and partners. Then pans to the show's villain, who reprimands his ammo. Liking animals is a pretty dang generic way to make a character likable, but hot dang if it's not effective. Especially considering how cute these creatures, now referred to as slugs, are. They exchange dialogue like in Trollhunters, however this time there's a lot more personality to it.
But aren't you tired of getting beat?
A little cocky, followed by the villain. We then get giving the audience more reasons to feds dotted corrupted slug, which enrages the hero. On stadium kind of guy. Villain went to lecture villain on how he's gonna mess up their whole world if he keeps messing with the environment.
It's like drags on.
As if Black has some sort
Get to the
of
point.
better nature implies that maybe they have some sort of history. And then, before being sucked into the wormhole, find his world and meets the main character.
Get to
Comedy
the
with a
point.
heavy emphasis on characters. So it makes sense it wouldn't deliver so hard on the story, but more than makes up for it with character. And since it takes place, on the
Get
other
to the
hand,
point.
is more
Get to the point.
about world building and action set pieces. So it makes sense that it would deliver more. But now look at Trollhunters. Its opening scene doesn't tell the audience much about the world of the show.
Because it'll tell later. And it's telling who the characters are. And the feeling you'll get within the show.
We don't get a good impression of the villain or of what it means to be a troll hunter.
Based on this, Trollhunter is more of a symbol and more of a power against the bad. Even without knowing the whole show, the fact that this means something to this world should be enough.
And there isn't any interesting story bits to get us invested.
The first few seconds, I guess the 70s and 60s movies, she wouldn't be interested at all. She wouldn't really be interested in Psycho because a few seconds it just zooms into a house, an apartment. And credits are in the beginning. She wouldn't like that, right? She wouldn't like Vertigo because also the credits are at the beginning and it literally just has characters talking to each other. She wouldn't like any of the big movies that were out in the past because it's slow, right?
At this point, I'm sure you're wondering why on earth I would spend 14 minutes just discussing the opening scene.
Yeah, I mean, saying it's not really explaining much, and it was literally just I guess at most probably like 3 minutes. Like comparing 3 minutes of another show and another show that's completely different. It's not same at all. It's kind of unfair.
Well, like an opening scene to a show, this opening video is just a precursor for things to come.
Things to come. Okay. Many flaws in this video, which would indicate that the other videos would have a lot of flaws, and I'm sorry that I'm making this video way too late. I just had it stuck in my head when I first made the first one. Well, I hope this one is a better representation of my thoughts on this very flawed video. Well, and I'm pretty sure she really loves Disney. That's probably why she's bashing Dreamworks at the moment of this video. Well, yeah, right.